Hi everybody. I'm doing this video even if I'm very tired and just coming back from an ecstatic dance. Why? Because during ecstatic dance, in the moment of relaxation, I had a very clear insight about what's about relationship, which is so important. What's about relationship? There's such a big potential for expansion, evolution, awakening, art opening, healing, whatever you want to call it. So relationships are intimate relationship especially, but I want to say all the relationships that become really closer push us into the direction of learning what unconditional love really means, and not just learning but embodying. Because in relationship, inevitably we are going to mirror to each other all the part of ourselves, while in a much more superficial connection, or not that close, not that intimate, we can continue in a sort of control of which part of ourselves connect and which part of ourselves share. This intimate relationship just cannot be if we are moving towards real intimacy. So not just physical intimacy, but emotional intimacy. It means that our wounded part will rise, the wounded part of the other being will rise, and this is exactly where we learn unconditional love. Unconditional means without condition, and conditions equal everything which is not what is real in the moment. And what is real in the moment is not just the light or conscious part of ourselves and the other one, because otherwise we wouldn't be incarnated any longer. So there is a part which is the part that we call unconscious or shadow self, the wounded self, which is exactly the place in which we can exercise unconditional love. To the amount that we use the relationship as a space in which we allow ourselves to go meet this wounded part within and bring love or consciousness or validation or understanding or attention to that, and in the same time we learn to do the same with the other one, and with his or her wounded part, with his or her unconscious part. This is where unconditional love can be embodied. Unconditional is without condition. It's not loving just what is beautiful or light or conscious or wise or healed. Is bringing love, the light of consciousness and of unconditional acceptance in the place which we hide from ourselves and which we don't want to see reflected back in one another. So to me, that's the real purpose of relationship. This is where the healing can happen. And so people ask me, and I have thought about it, so why we cannot reach that unconditional love by our own, what we call self-love, or even exercise unconditional love for the world at large, but without being in a relationship? Of course we can, but what I really believe is that in relationship it's very hard to go into denial without the situation, the condition breaking down at one point, or the disease, emotional disease, showing up in an intense way, while it's easier to stay in that state of just not wanting to dive deep and reach all the part of ourselves when we are alone, when we are not involved in that closeness, which necessarily is gonna trigger and unveil the unconscious part. So, and when we can bring love to the part of ourselves that we meet and allow the love of another being be present when we show up with that parts that we have been so ashamed of, that we have hid out from our own consciousness first and from the world, from the view of the world, because we're so full of judgment. That's where, in my opinion, the ultimate healing really happened, and the recognition of the oneness while being embodied in apparently separated bodies. So yeah, I think relationship are such a strong pull because it's life calling us to meet all part of ourselves. So people ask me why we get attracted to men or women, to people that somehow all the traits of our parents or replay the same patterns, dynamics in which our core wounds have been built. I think that it's really the call of life for healing. So the perfect partner is exactly the one that gives us the opportunity to go meet these parts and our shame and judgment about it, and create a space of allowance, of validation, of reintegration of these parts. So yes, for sure, we attract people that gonna trigger exactly the uncomfortable part of ourselves so that we can integrate them. We can accept fully our humanness, bringing the light of the infinite, that we are in contact with what we have believed to be this unworthy being. And this is where the healing happens. This is what awakening is about. So relationships are this huge opportunity, this doorway to remembrance. Thank you so much. I'm very tired, but I wanted to share because it's really just opened into my heart, and and I hope that arrives to you and give you the hope and the willingness and the perspective to navigate what you are living right now as an opportunity to come back to yourself and facilitate another to do the same journey. Thanks so much. Have a nice evening. Bye.